And we're back. Work is over, and now it's time to remember everything I forgot about what I was last doing. Okay, we want to search for a level 3 security card. Let's go. If those cameras are anything to go by, this lab was under constant surveillance. I'll scan the recordings and try to spot where people left their security cards. Maybe we'll get lucky. This sturdy looking shelving unit holds a storage crate and sealed barrels. No sign of any security cards. I keep holding out hope that I'll find some evidence of my parents here, despite knowing there is none. Aw. You find a security card in the cabinet drawer. Oh, did you just find a security card? Well, that's a stroke of luck. Let's have Shale examine it to be sure. Well, well, if it isn't exactly what we needed. Nice work, Lucira. Oh, a level 3! That should get us into the director's office. So, what was it you were hoping to find in there again, Shale? You were saying that a certain device was going to help us. Right. I haven't properly explained myself, have I? I'm looking for a data relay. After we discovered this ostensibly abandoned complex, I performed a cursory investigation which detected a connection to an outside network. When I traced the data's routing, I confirmed traffic from a web of Everkeep security cameras. Considering the way Calix is always one step ahead of us, we must assume he's quietly seized control of the city's surveillance system and has been using it to monitor our activities. To monitor what you, as the key holder, are planning. But since Calix is the ultimate recipient of those transmissions, the flow of data is like a river that we can follow back to him. Which is why I need the data relay. If I can analyze the device and see where it's rerouting all the surveillance traffic, then you can pinpoint Calix's position. That said, he has done nothing to impede our progress, which makes me think I might be on entirely the wrong track. Maybe the reason he isn't stopping us is because he can't. Back in the old castle, Alex said he was measuring Lucira's strength. What can he possibly dream up that's stronger than her? Oh, speaking of cameras, there was another thing I meant to mention. I found evidence that someone deliberately disabled the surveillance feed in this room. The most recent recording was also crudely deleted. I was able to restore the data, though, if you'd like to see it. I'll start the show then.
Are you really planning to leave?
Yes. The idea of eternal life. It's begun to frighten me. I struggle to renounce our conventional wisdom. Death is the means by which life prunes its branches, leaving the trunk to grow strong and tall. We die so that our species may flourish. What would become of mankind were we to halt that process? If unending stagnation is the fruit of our labor, then perhaps we strive for the wrong thing.
Your argument is a rejection of Master Calix's vision.
I suppose it is. Perhaps such dread would not plague me, were I capable of sharing his perspective on the subject. But I cannot. He and I are too different, in too many ways. I lack his extraordinary genius. I had no illness threatening to cut my life short, no singularity of will to cut away all distractions and focus solely upon research. I have nothing but respect for his determination, the way he overcame his prognosis and seized the means to transcend death itself. But I'm not convinced that this obsession with living is the right path. That's why I've decided to leave preservation and put all my effort towards building a legacy for the next generation to come. Surely you...
Protocol, you understand. There can be no exceptions.
She only wanted to leave and he executed her. I checked the images against the personnel data, and the man who pulled the trigger was Director Demetrius himself. Everything I could find on him pointed to a deep infatuation with Master Calix. The cameras in this room have been out of operation ever since that incident. Given that the recording was erased, I can only assume he was trying to conceal his grisly deed from the other researchers. I am not surprised given how my parents described their defection from the Institute. They spoke of rushing me through a portal even as Preservation's agents closed in on them. I dared not ask what became of them after that, but if it turns out they were captured by their pursuers, I'm sure they managed to escape. I want to believe they did, and even if they didn't, I hope that they at least enjoy what time they had as endless. Oh, Kryl. Worry not, Sven. Thanks to the Haven of Living Memory, I was at least able to meet my parents and learn what they stood for. It is enough for me to carry on. Even now, we don't know how the conflict unfolded between your parents and preservation. But what we do know is that your mother and father cleverly expunged every last trace of their movements. They made sure no one could cross into the source or threaten their child's safety. Right, Let's press on, shall we? This tale behind the key deserves a fitting conclusion. To the director's office. Okay. Lap around here. See everything. Oh. They're making more of these. That's curious in and of itself. This way. I don't expect to find any information on my parents in this next room either, and that's something I can be proud of. Was Calix the one who gave orders to execute defectors? The more we learn about him, the less I understand. Hearing Kryl talk about her parents reminded me of how much I miss Namika. I guess I'll never really get over it. If that man in the recording was Director Demetrius, then this must be his office. My earlier investigation split the data relay just past this door. Let's get it open, shall we? There we go. Let's head inside. Now to find that data relay. And don't be shy, everyone. Speak up if anything odd catches your eye. Losera, come with me. I might have need of that security card. This is a report on reducing people to ether. How much energy can be harnessed per individual? Oh, my apologies. I was thinking about the key. Something odd. Something odd. Huh? This Director Demetrius was very particular about how he decorated his office. We've got incense and vases and some kind of gem display? Oh, I know these are soul cells. Damn, this terminal isn't connected to any outside networks, so it can't be the data relay I'm looking for. This office is also smaller than the map suggested. I'm positive we're in the right room. What am I missing? Sorry, Lucera. Could I ask you and the others to search the office for any clues to this infuriating puzzle? Okay, let's see. Having lain dormant for years, the now active coffee maker has already entered a self-cleaning cycle. It appears to have no other purpose beyond brewing coffee. though it remains to be seen when it will be able to do so once more. It's endless coffee. Ah. You find a crumpled note wedged between the file binders. Secure room lift access requires passwords to be input simultaneously at terminals in the Proto Lab, the Tutorial Lab, and the Director's Office. Perhaps this discovery would be of interest to Shale. The collection of soul cells may have once belonged to the Director. They appear to be empty. Amongst other personal effects, you find what is presumably the Director's data tablet. A closed locker stands next to the table. You pick up the data tablet and begin skimming through the contents. General daily report. Nothing of note. The mystery of the key's activation condition remains unsolved. The key triggered an explosion today. Temporary interdimensional portal verified. Continue attempts to stabilize the core's energy reactions. 13 researchers sustained fatal injuries in the explosion. Memory faculties of 4 personnel sufficiently intact for endless conversion. Remaining 9 designated for ether reclamation processing. Nothing of note. Rejected resignations of 2 Milala researchers. Major incident. Details in full report. Those 2 inept Milala broke with preservation and absconded with the key. Though the fugitives have since been caught and eliminated, we were too late to recover the relic. The only reason we retained our flesh was to serve Master Calix as physical instruments to conduct his experiments. Deprived of the object of our research, our existence serves no further purpose. I dare not imagine the depths of his disappointment in me. The complex is to be shut down. All personnel will have their bodies reduced to ether, which will be allocated for further experimentation. Memory data will be archived. Any endless conversions will be subject to Master Calix's discretion. If he does not deem us fit, then we are not deserving of eternal life. Shutdown protocols. All personnel have undergone processing. Once the shutdown protocols have been completed, I will proceed with my own corporeal dissolution. As long as the key remains in the physical world, we must keep this complex in pristine condition, whether it be needed for experiments or otherwise. It must be ready to support future operations in whatever capacity Master Calix requires. To that end, facility equipment will be maintained in stasis mode. Furthermore, critical component for secure room access will be stored separately to defend against unauthorized entry. Okay, that was a lot. But Cryle's parents. Have you found something? Thank you. A misplaced note, was it? With instructions for accessing a secure room, no less. Seems we need to enter a password on 3 different terminals at the same time. There was no such room marked on the map, was there? No, a precautionary measure, no doubt. And if passwords are involved, I expect the access lift itself is concealed too. Concealed? By electrope, you mean? Ah, could it be that wall? I thought it seemed odd when I walked past. Remember what Kakuya used to say, Shale? Never trust an electrope surface. Electrope isn't always what it appears to be. Oh, of course, electrope is how you alter the look of all of Solution 9's floors and walls, isn't it? In which case, it shouldn't be too hard to disable. Another door! I've managed to deactivate the projection, but the lock is another story. Didn't that note lay out the password protocol? I say we go ahead and try it. I agree. 2 people should prepare the lab terminals for input, while the rest of us look for passwords here in the office. I'll take the proto lab. Then I'll take the Deutero lab. Actually, it might be better if you stayed, Sphene. Your knowledge of Alexandria and its people could be needed here. Yes, you're right. If the passwords are hiding behind clues, that may be something I can help with. I can help too. I've lived my whole life in Alexandria after all. I will take Deutero lab duty then. We can keep in touch via communicator to match our timing. Lucera, you shall have the honor of entering the office password. Once we've determined what we need to input, take your place at this terminal. I'll stand by to guide Wuklamat and Cryle through the process. You know, there was that display plate over there, the one with the gems? I thought since it's made of electrope, it might have some other purpose. But I couldn't find any switches or buttons to make it do anything. Maybe you can figure it out. Okay, let's see. Passwords. 2 jewels are embedded in this electrope plate. You identify the blue gem as sapphire and the red gem as a garnet. There also appears to be an empty slot for another jewel to fill. Okay. Where could that be? You have located Director Demetrius' personal data tablet in locker space. Take another look? This time let's look in the locker. The door to the locker swings open easily. Holy crap. It contains nothing of note. You quietly shut the locker door. This game. Okay. Is there anything else here? Let's see if there's anything else. Maybe the jewels in here. You have yet to discover enough clues to deduce the passwords. Try exploring the immediate area or conferring with your comrades until you have more information. Okay. Keep calm and everything will be fine. Both of you are quick studies. I kept searching the drawers with the books and found a cube puzzle made of electro. It's probably just a toy, but maybe. You got it. Let's see. If I move this bit, then connect this circuit to that one. There. There was something inside. Oh, it's a pretty green stone. I think it might be Alexandrite. They say these gems were so treasured in the past that they named the kingdom after them. Here, you should hold on to this one just in case. Awesome. I think that's what we need. Okay. The gemstone fits snugly into place. Almost immediately afterwards, the glowing lines of a diagram appear on the display, accompanied by a short phrase. As you continue studying the display, you realize that these shapes correspond to the rooms of the complex in which you now stand. This may be related to the passwords you were looking for. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, crap. Okay, so we have Sapphire in the Proto Lab. Alexandrite in the director's office. And Garnet in the Deutero Lab. Carefully writing these things down in my notebook. Old style. Okay, so that's the jewels. There are two rooms here that are not marked. Okay. Scrawled phrase. The glowing words appear to be handwritten. Yes, I knew that jewel would come in handy. Let me see. Heed the stones? This must be about the special meanings Alexandrians have for gems. Heed the stones. It's an old belief, I think, where each type of gem means something different. I bet if you asked Sveen, she could tell you more about it. After all, even her name comes from a gemstone. Okay. We need to find Sveen. Yes, you have questions? You need only ask. The symbolism of Alexandrite. Well, I was taught that Alexandrite represents the concept of protection. It is incidentally also the origin of Alexandria's name. Protection. Okay. Oh, are you thinking this has something to do with the passwords? A sapphire and a garnet as well, you say? Yes, they all have meanings. Alexandrite, as I said, is protection. Sapphire represents honesty, and garnet symbolizes devotion. Okay. We should try these words at the terminals and see if they're accepted. I certainly hope we're right. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's see. Should I talk to Shale? Okay, let's go. You have gathered enough information to attempt entering the passwords. We're all set to go here. Wooklamat and Kryl are just waiting on their passwords. Let's start with Wooklamat in the Proto Lab. What word should she enter? And the password for Kryl in the Deutero Lab? And lastly, what will we input for the director's office? Right, we have all three passwords ready. Now to enter them into the system at the same time. Yes! Oh, I'm so glad that worked. That secure room is the only place we've yet to search. If the data relay is anywhere, it has to be there. We'll venture in as soon as Wooklamat and Kryl rejoin us. Okay. Well, that went well. Excellent clue finding, Lucera. Speaking of gemstone symbology, for Alexandrian, Sphene holds the meaning of eternal light. When my parents named me, it was their wish that I become an unwavering beacon of hope for our people. Think on it now. I have ever shared that destiny with my other self. Great work, Lucera. Leave it to you to divine passwords from an ornamental display. We did it, thanks to you. And a little bit thanks to me, I hope. Sure thing, kid. Alright, let's go. Alright, everyone. Time to board the lift and see what awaits us.
This terminal doesn't look special to me, but this is definitely what we're after?
It is. But whether or not it will suffice for our purposes is another question.
The Endless are created using the memories of the deceased. But as memories are, in essence, collections of data, the resultant entities have no physical form. These data entities, as we might call them, have only two methods for interacting with the material world. One of these we saw in living memory, where the Endless are granted temporary bodies through the use of corporeal ether. They become much like solid ghosts that one can see and touch. The other method, which Kafkiwa employed, is the remote operation of a machine. But where do you suppose the Endless are to be found when not inhabiting a physical body?
The Endless are memories, and if memories are data, then...
In a world formed of data?
Yes, we suspect they reside in a virtual domain, one contained entirely within an electro-based machine. We've seen such a realm before, after all.
Oh, you mean like the Alexandria made from the Endless Fiend's memories? It all seems so real.
So this virtual domain, it would also be housed within the Meso terminal.
But how? I thought we shut down all the terminals in living memory.
You did. And Kafkiwa's program performed just as she intended. The Meso terminal itself was deactivated, as evidenced by the failure of the device which was keeping Spheen's body in stasis. Be that as it may, we face a master of electrope engineering. That he managed to partition and protect the sector harboring his own memories is well within the bounds of possibility.
Let us say that the Meso terminal does indeed contain a second domain, and that Calyx himself resides there. This city, on the other hand, exists here in the source. That being the case, I thought perhaps we could prevent his remote interference by closing the gate to the Golden City, and thus severing the connection between worlds.
Except I tried to close it once already when I visited Living Memory. The process required administrative authorization, a restriction I assumed at the time had been imposed by the Queen.
But now you think Calyx might be responsible.
Just as I suspected. Even now, security transmissions from throughout the keep are being tapped by the core system and routed elsewhere. Almost every single one has you as its focus. He's keeping track of the keyholder's movements.
Time's up, and what a waste of time it's been. Hoping to find me by tracing security data? That will not be necessary. Through a not inconsiderable effort, I've taken your measure and prepared a force sufficient to subdue you. Come. I invite you to the upper reaches of the Meso terminal. The storage device which holds my memories is there. Break the memory bank and victory is yours. I, in turn, will seek to wrest the key from you with any and every means at my disposal.
And if we refuse this invitation?
I will wait and continue to convert Alexandrians into Endless. Consider the urgency of the situation and make the wiser choice.
Answer me one question, Calyx. The Endless Fiend. When she was queen, you had her face an impossible task, then manipulated her into using the key when she was at her most desperate. If you can do all that, then why not whisk it away when her plans went to ruin? Why let it fall into our hands?
You pour salt in the wound. That disaster was a miscalculation on my part. As her end drew near, Sphene and her restructured memories had become one with the terminal's control systems. In that singular place, in that singular moment, she wielded an authority greater than mine. Thus she was able to shield you, the neighboring sovereign to whom she entrusted her nation's future, and the hero to whom she entrusted that priceless key. I am unsure to what degree she perceived my presence, but she knew that someone was watching. Does that satisfy your curiosity?
It does. And I'm satisfied that you will take nothing more from this nation. Not one more life, not one more future, not one single smile from another child's face. You hear me? Sorry for losing my temper, but there's only one way we can deal with people like Calyx. Whatever grand future he envisions, someone will be made to pay the price. And I won't let that happen.
I'm with you. Let's bust them up.
If I may, I realize it is not my place to say this. Even so, I must thank you both. On behalf of my other self, allow me to say how grateful I am to have you as our champions.
Well, that was an adventure. It may not have been by the method Shale was hoping for, but at least now we know where to find Calyx and what we need to do next. Indeed, while I remain curious about Preservation's research into the key, that is an investigation for another day. Then let's head straight to the back room. We should get everyone on the same page before we make our move. The note has to say. Don't you be letting up now, you hear? Let your passion carry ye to the bitter end. Okay. I've passed on the short version of events to our comrades so that we can all prepare for the challenge ahead. It's time to put an end to this. Alex won't stop until we stop him. The situation isn't the best out there, but at least you've come back to us safe and sound. It was my other self who entrusted you with the key. Though she could not change who she was, the consequences of her final choice linger, empowering us to shape our own future. Shale has been out of sorts ever since we got back. I don't think she liked what Calyx said. But don't worry, I'll do my best to cheer her up. Damn that bastard Calyx. He waited until I was this close before snatching away my moment of triumph. In that infuriating, condescending way he spoke to us. We'll see whose time is up, you smug little weasel asshole. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I know things didn't go to plan, but we learned a great deal about preservation. That knowledge could come in handy in days to come. Though I may not be able to contribute much to a direct confrontation, I mean to see this through with you all, providing whatever support I can. Okay. She already said that. One of our own. Losera, we briefed Aramville on everything that has happened and sent word to the others. We've now but to consider what our next actions will be. Calyx has offered you the opportunity to confront him directly. And though it feels much like striding face first into an ambush, we have little choice. We are to destroy the memories he supposedly has stored in the upper reaches of the Meso Terminal, then that is where we must go. While I'm still upset at being deprived of my moment, I nevertheless did my due diligence. I can confirm that the relay we found was indeed transmitting surveillance data to a device somewhere in living memory. When you go to fight Calyx, pray let me fight alongside you. Let me fight for the memory of Otis and Zelenia, and for the other Sphene I may have become, but most importantly, for my beloved kingdom and a joyful tomorrow. It's always been your fight as much as ours, if not more. Thank you for understanding what this means to me. I'll be coming with you as well. You know my reasons. It hardly needs saying, but your fellow Scions also have every intention of accompanying you into battle. So adamant were Alice and the others on this point that they have already left for living memory. I am more than ready to do the same. I'll keep patrolling the streets for signs of trouble, especially from anyone wearing neo-regulators. Should you need anything from me, I'll be on standby here in the back room. I really want to go with you too, but I know I can't. I know that sometimes you have to be patient and trust in your friends. Oh, Lucira, Kral and I think we should talk to Gosan before we leave for Living Memory. Under Calix's direction, preservation has helped shape Alexandria's society for centuries. Taking him down will have serious consequences, and we need to warn the officials in charge about what we intend. Justifications aside, we shall be acting against the wishes of all who desire to become endless. Exactly. We don't know if Gosan will approve or oppose our chosen course, but either way, leaving without a word is the wrong thing to do. Come, we should be on our way. Resolution first, yes? Be safe, everyone. We'll see you when it's over. Okay, let's go. Even people from my village have taken to wearing neo-regulators. I can only hope it doesn't end badly. I'll do whatever I can to help Shale and Aramville. It may not be much, but small things add up when you do enough of them. As I said, I'll be ready and waiting if and when you have need of me. Just make sure you come back in one piece. Okay, let's go. Yes, that was Sailor Moon. Okay, let's go. I see Gussen's wearing a neo-regulator. He'll have some thoughts to share on the subject, I'll wager. The air is thick with a sense of unease, not least around Gosan himself. Government officials must be fielding demands from all quarters. I do not envy Gosan in his position.
I see. A difficult situation. In the absence of an official sovereign, I agree that it is not preservation's place to dictate the future of our nation. However, I also cannot simply take a side and declare my support for your efforts to defeat Calix.
Is that because of the new regulator you wear?
I've yet to register it. I find myself caught between the fear of dying and the desire to carry out the duties of governance. My greatest concern is how we shall stem this ever-increasing terror of mortality when becoming endless is no longer an option. And that's to say nothing of the recent slaughter committed by our own soldiers. The fact that such violence was perpetrated for the very purpose of creating endless will, paradoxically, make it more difficult to endorse your chosen course. It may not seem logical, but for those who lost friends and family in the attacks, halting the creation process altogether would render the deaths of their loved ones utterly meaningless. Is it not cruel to rob them of what little solace they could claim, when we have only just learned what it is to mourn? Tell me, how are we meant to overcome such tragedies?
We stop begging others to teach us for a start. For the longest time, we've been protected by Queen Sphene and the systems put in place by our forebears. The hardships and responsibilities of life were distant things, and we felt entitled to our comforts, even as we barely noticed those who risked everything to keep us sheltered. But no more. From now on, we need to learn on our own. How to live with the promise of death. How to endure the pain of loss. We may never learn to love such things, but we may learn to survive them. The people beyond the barrier, even the Alexandrians of old, they've all had to live with these fears. There's no reason we can't do it too.
What are you all doing here?
Malachite called us in, and the Oblivion members briefed us on the current crisis. You don't stand idly by while your house burns down. We came together and thought about how we could help. Long story short, we've decided to join the fight alongside Oblivion. I say fight, but we're well aware of how little use we'd be in actual combat.
A battle of ideas, on the other hand. Now that we might be qualified to do something about. We'll talk to our neighbors and do our best to quell their fears. Convince them to make the most of this life and enjoy all it has to offer. Perhaps that will help to ease your burden.
It certainly will. Even if a few are assuaged by your words, it will make things easier.
Those who have already registered will be difficult to sway, but there are still many who waver. Those are the ones we'll concentrate on.
Gossen, if you truly care for the people of Alexandria, then now's the time to start thinking of ways to prevent more deaths.
Were I to become endless at the expense of my countrymen's lives, I would regret it for the rest of my existence. Forgive my weakness. When the people have lost their way, it falls to the government to support and guide them. Alexandria can rise above this sorrow and find its way forward once more. Is that not so, Your Majesty?
Indeed it is. No, that wasn't... what I meant to say was...
Calm down, Sphene.
Lamity, you used her name.
The perfect resemblance to our beloved Queen Sphene has not escaped our notice. Yet we also understand that you are not her. Having to live in secret, unable to share who you really are, that must have been hard on you. When you come back, please tell us all about yourself. I imagine yours is a rather outlandish story, but we're eager to hear it all the same. You're one of us, an Alexandrian, and we don't abandon our own.
I promise to return. And when I do, I look forward to speaking with you all.
Okay. That was pretty cool. It is a relief to be freed from my indecision. Until I had removed my regulator, I hadn't realized how heavy it weighed upon me. I'm glad we were able to hear the will of the Alexandrian people. Now it falls to us to see the rest of it through. Sphene must be overjoyed to be so welcomed by her countrymen. For their sakes, we need to bring her back safely. Everyone was so warm and welcoming. Alexandrians are, as ever, a stalwart people. How glad I am to be home. Thank you, Gosan. That decision must have been difficult to make. If only I could claim the courage to do so came from within. The final push came from Alexandria's citizens and their bravery in taking the first step towards change. Speaking of which, can I ask you to lock that Neo regulator away where no one can get to it? That should prevent the registrations from reaching the target number. I should be glad to do so, but I fear it would be to no avail. According to our most recent surveys, the number of Neo regulators in circulation exceeds the stated 5,000. I surmise the surplus units are to account for those like myself who have had a change of heart or are otherwise hesitant to register. Ah, that does sound like something Calix would do. Well, we'll have to face him either way, so no point in delaying the inevitable. On to living memory.
Things seem much the same.
So listen, you have nothing more to fear than any other normal day. Deep breaths. We'll get through this.
You'd be telling them much the same if you were here. I suppose it falls to me now.
Okay. Solo. It's good to rejoin you all. I needed to step away briefly that I might make arrangements for a certain precautionary measure. We've all been so busy, it seems to an age since last we gathered in such a manner. I must say, we do make for a formidable group. Coming here reminds me of my parents, of the courage they gave me. Seems Alphino and Alice were the ones to explain to Kona our need to enter the cenote. He urged us to be extremely careful, of course. Last time I had to wait in the cenote, but there's nothing to stop me from joining this fight. I had scarcely awakened here when I fell unconscious. Now that I can fully enjoy the gentle silence of this place, it brings tears to my eyes. Ah, 'tis good to see our comrades hale and girded for battle. As for us, we've been ahead to inspect the lay of the land. There were no changes of note, aside from with the mesoterminal itself. Why? What's happened to the mesoterminal? The wall has receded to provide a convenient entrance into the structure's interior. There was no such ingress the last time we were here, so we must assume that Calyx has since manipulated the terminal's electrode, all to facilitate his most gracious invitation to upper levels. An invitation I am eager to accept. For the sake of all who love Alexandria, I will not yield nor leave them to despair. Okay, let's see. Is that working? A terminal invitation. I believe everyone determined to be here is present and accounted for. Shall we make our way to the terminal? We wouldn't wish to keep our insistent host waiting. Okay, let's see. Haha, speak with Wuklamat. Okay, let's go. So, this is where the former queen's memories were stored, and she herself tried to erase them. Even as an endless, her resolve was so strong that she would kill her heart to become the cold machine she believed she needed to be. Living memory is steeped in dense lightning ether of the ninth. This pervasive energy must be what the terminal utilizes as a power source. I remember little of my awakening. Paralysis yet lingered, and my eyes could barely focus. When we shut down all the minor terminals, we watched as the endless faded away. I do not believe that was a performance staged to deceive us. As for the meso terminal, however, it had already grown dark by the time we had returned from the virtual domain. While I am loath to admit it, it is possible its true appearance was hidden from us in our absence, which is why we must bring this tale to its denouement by our own hand. It hadn't occurred to me that one might physically enter the terminal, although I suppose it makes sense when you think about it. The structure for creating Endless would have required maintenance administered by corporeal hands. An endless existence for the evolution of mankind? I understand what he strives for, but not what drives him to do so with such ruthlessness. Well, here we are again, facing another battle to decide Alexandria's fate. For 4 centuries I slept here. Upon awakening, I found the world as I knew it had changed. I was so frightened at first, I couldn't recognize a single thing and thought everything I loved had gone to dust. Yet, beneath the unfamiliar surface, much remained the same. For that, I give thanks to Otis and Zelenia and their royal knights, who lay their lives on the line to defend our way of life. I thank every Alexandrian who believed in our future and passed on our legacy. I thank my other self who so loved this kingdom of ours. And I thank you all for kindly kindling this hope in my heart, this courage to take up arms and fight once more. So let us make our stand together and fight for what we hold dear. The kind and gentle Queen Speen was too weak to serve her people, and so she will serve them no more. Freed from conscience, I shall become a ruler that can protect Alexandria, a devourer of worlds. Together we stand, together we fight. You have my gratitude, and surely Otis and Zelenia will join us in spirit. Let's head inside and finish this. In the upper reaches of this terminal awaits the device which holds Calix's memories. It falls to us to make the climb and destroy it once and for all. We must bring matters to a definitive end. We will not suffer him to cause Alexandria further harm, nor claim the key. The Queen entrusted it to Locera for good reason, and besides, it would be a tragedy indeed to relinquish a relic so much research potential. Apparently, Calix thinks we've taken our measure. I urge you to correct that misguided assumption. I wholeheartedly concur, yet would still counsel caution. That he would be so bold as to extend us an invitation bespeaks tremendous confidence in his preparations. Come, friends, we set forth into the midst of dreaming endless. Okay, fight. Okay, take a quick break. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. This first time through, I'm gonna do this with NPCs. Hey, Angel! You're here just in time to see me probably die a bunch of times, but we'll see. Okay, we're gonna run this with NPCs first. I knew this was going to happen to me. I need to gear up. My item level is too low. I know, lame. Oh no, your motherboard is dying. And your CPU. This is not a good time for that. Not a good time at all. Okay. I can't do this fight yet, though. I need to gear up for this. Crap. Crap. So embarrassing. Well, shoot. Well, sorry to disappoint, Angel, but I'm actually going to duck out of here because I need to gear up, and then I'll come back and do this fight. Shouldn't take me more than a few minutes, but I'm gonna cancel the I'm gonna stop the stream. I will be back. I promise, absolutely. So if you want to come by again. Okay, everybody, I gotta gear up because I'm lame right now. So until next time, which won't be too long, yeah, I'll